Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we're going to be looking at my favorite teams of MCC Season 3. And yes, there's quite a couple of them. I think about 18 to 20, I think, if I counted correctly. I made some notes on the side. I will not be revealing the notes as we will be going through every single event. And I will share my favorite teams. There's multiple teams per event, usually. But before we do that, there is MCC Triumphs that I had not looked at because I missed MCC 35. I didn't watch it, obviously, as you might have known. And thus, I hadn't looked at this because I forgot. But this website looks really cool. And a little fun thing to mention that I didn't mention in the recap is that MCC hosted 127 creators, which means 127 different people played in MCC Season 3, I think. Which is pretty high in terms of, amount of people. When you factor in Rising, obviously that is a third, but that's still a lot of people. So, hey, cool, good thing. All right, starting off, MCC 29, first event of MCC Season 3. We're going to go through this in regular order. They're in reverse order here because when I opened up the page, first of all, very laggy. Second of all, it goes in reverse order. For MCC 29, I have one favorite team this event, which is obviously Blue Team. My reason for it is this was Shane's first canon appearance, and also it is a very fun team. Amy, Shelby, Elena are all super fun people to team with, or to, from what I can tell at least. I haven't teamed with any of them, I think, in anything before, but very fun people to team with regardless. I like a lot of the other teams as well. By the way, disclaimer, just because I don't say a team is my favorite doesn't mean I dislike it. I actually like a lot of the teams, but I'm also neutral to some of the teams. I just pick the ones that are the most exciting to me. Otherwise I'd be sitting here talking about like half the teams, which is a little bit too much. Okay, that's it for MCC 29. Moving on to MCC Scuffed. This one, there's actually two teams that I think are my favorite, and they might be two of my most favorite ones in the entire batch of all teams in Season 3. Pink team is one of them, which is JoJo, Korean, Shelby, and Lizzie. That team is fantastic. It might honestly be probably top 3 most favorite probably this year or this season. It's just a very cool combination, and obviously seeing Korean and Lizzie back is always super fun. Shelby's one of my favorite players, and JoJo is amazing, so very fun team. And the other one is Aqua. I actually recently was talking with Ant Frost about his past teams, and this one was a highlight. Just the combination of Ant Frost and Velvet is already great. Throw Toby on there, it's great. Throw Connor Eats Pants on there. It's just a cherry on top. It's phenomenal. Great team making. Scott, good job. I'm also going to turn the music down real quick. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, fantastic team. So Scuffed, 2 teams, Pink and Aqua. Great. Next up is MCC 30. This one, there's 2 teams that I liked more than some of the other ones, being Green Team, which obviously had a JoJo and Pete duo. I think Michael and Cara are also super good fits for this team and make it, round it out very well. I think it's a great team. And Cyan, because I don't really remember Cyan team very well, but it looks really funny on paper, and I think if I did a watch party. I assume I probably watched that team a couple times because it's just really entertaining. So yeah, good teams. Next up is MCC 31. Here, my favorite teams are Red Team because it's a full Spanish team, and regardless of like all the scuff that happened beforehand with people being removed and people leaving and etc. whatever. I think Ollie and Captain Gato were fantastic people to sub in, and they actually have been really enjoyable throughout MCC. Obviously, they haven't had an opportunity to be in a full Spanish, environment in MCC. But hopefully, in Season 4, maybe we'll have another Spanish team, or maybe a different language, like French. Maybe Shadoon could, have a French team. I don't really know if Shadoon speaks fluent French, but I know he is French, so maybe. Anyways. Yeah, Red Team I really like. Yellow Team is really cool. I really like Yellow Team. Jordan and Fruit, Scar, and Scott. Very fun combo. I don't really know particularly why, but when I was doing my research for every event, this one just stood out. I think it's just all people that are like really fun to see in the event, and I think the combination of them works. So yeah, good team. And the other team I really like here is Cyan Team. A Pete and Phil duo is great. I think Becky and Michaela round out the team, again, very well. I think Amy was on here beforehand. I think regardless with Amy or with Michaela, works really well. I think it's a really cool team. If I recall correctly, I think they didn't do super well. I don't really know why, but cool team regardless. I think we're at the halfway point almost now. Sorry, I have to take a breath. Now we are at the event where I have the most teams that I liked. There's 4 actually, and it happens to be almost every single one of the quote-unquote hype colors. The first one is red team, a Pete and green duo. As much as it's happened a lot in the past, very fun to see, you know, even though it's happened a couple times. Gem, also very fun to see in a combination with them. And Cleo is a nice surprise newcomer for this event, I guess, in terms of, you know, Pride and MCC as a whole. Cleo worked really well on the team as far as I recall. Hopefully we'll see Cleo back in the future, but I think, yeah, this team is just really cool. Pete with some hermits, great combo, nice. Next up, I have the green team. The green team, H-Bomb Rambo is a pretty intriguing duo. I think this is the only time it happened, but it was pretty fun. Sykuna obviously is always nice to see back, and Lily Pichu is a very out of left field newcomer. Obviously it kind of makes sense in the context of MCC and who's been in the event historically, but still, Lily Pichu not someone I predicted, I think, at the time to be in. And I think, you know, this team looks really fun on paper, and I think it's really good. Next up, despite the recent things that happened, Cyan team is still a team that, at least at the time, looks really fun and is really exciting. Obviously, a long requested duo happened, Janet and Ryan Higa joining as well, very cool. But it leaves a little bit of a sour taste nowadays, but we'll move on from that. And next up, the final team that I really liked for this event was Aqua Team. A Phil and Harvey duo is great. Chef's kiss, okay? Great duo. They were on the same team on one of my favorite teams ever, which is MCC 12 Green, with, I think, George and Welber. Great team. And I think Velvet and Eric follow the trend of this team very well. I think it's a very cohesive team, and I think it's good. I like it. Big thumbs up for me. Great team. Now we're actually at the halfway point. I was lying beforehand. I am still lying, by the way. We're still not at the halfway point. This is going to be the halfway point. MCC 32, in which my favorite team was red, and this is also the only one that I wrote down as a standout for me personally. I know a lot of people will think something like a Cyan because of the whole captain theme, or another team will be their standout team. I really like red. It has a lot of players that I really enjoy seeing in the event, and I think the combination of them worked. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, they ended up winning, which was great. It was a fantastic team to have, you know, see in Dodgeball, to get there, first of all, and to also end up winning. Great. So that's it for MCC 32. Next up, MCC 33. This one is obvious. My favorite team here is obviously Cyan. It's also the only one that I wrote down as a particular standout to me personally. I was hesitant on maybe including Yellow. Yellow is also a team I really like, but I didn't end up writing it down. Just Cyan team is the one that I am picking, for obvious reasons. I don't really need to explain it. Scott Etho, Shane Scar, even without Etho there, already a fun combination, but Etho just brings so much to the table here. It was great. It was great. Next up, MCC Rising 2. I actually did not have a particular standout team for this event. However, the note I wrote down was fun, but no particular team standouts, as wow, OMG, as in there wasn't a single team in this event where I was like, holy crap, oh my god, what, like shocked, you know, that they were in. However, I mean, if I had to pick a favorite, I think Red Team was one that I was vouching for pretty heavily, and obviously it was nice to see Aqua Team sub in last minute. The original Aqua Team would have probably been the pick had they also not had an unfortunate occurrence take place. But Richard Thornton was a great surprise substitution. It was phenomenal. Moving on. MCC 34. The only team I have written down here is Red Team, which is Shane, Michael, Rambo, and Shelby. Now, obviously, you might notice I have a little bit of Shane bias because he's one of my best friends. But you can't deny that team was really entertaining, and if they had the opportunity to run it back, I would say that they should run it back. or I guess Scott should let them run it back if Rainbow would be willing to play. It's a very cool team. Next up, we're getting to the end now. This was Twitch Rivals, MCC Twitch Rivals. I have two teams that I thought were standouts here that I really liked, being the Lime team of Jojo, Shadoon, Elena, and Shelby. I think I already said this, maybe in my watch party or maybe beforehand. That is my favorite team for this event, just because I think the combination of people works really well, and it's a really fun team. I like it a lot. The other team is Green Team. I already was like leaning into really liking Green Team. Obviously, a lot of the people on the team are people I am either friends with or just, I've mentioned before, are people I really enjoy watching. But especially the Toby and Foolish showdown during Twitch Rivals just added more to the table and made me really appreciate Foolish as a player in the event. Thus, Green Team gets the thumbs up for me as a phenomenal team to take place in MCC Season 3. Second to last event to look at now is MCC Party, and yet again, I do not have a particular standout team for me personally. I understand that probably a lot of people will say that they really like something like Green, but to me personally, I'm not really someone who watches them super actively, so it's not like a super big standout team to me. But I wrote down, again, fun roster, but no particular team I really like, really being in full caps, okay? I like this roster, but there's not one team that I like super much, right? If that makes any sense. And then finally, MCC 35. One team, this one, if you followed, the videos on MCC 35 and covering everything around it, my favorite team was Purple. It is my pick for favorite team. I think one of my favorite teams, at least to round off the year. Harvey, Pete, Sneak, Kara combination is great. Some of them are people I've spoken to a lot or been friends with for a while. And it's just a really fun team. I was jealous, okay? When I saw the team get announced, I was like, damn, I would want to be on that team so bad. And regardless of which person would have to have been replaced, would have made it equally like as much of a banger. Like every single person on the team is super cool. And great team. Anyways, those are my favorite teams of MCC Season 3. Tomorrow, if I remember, we will be looking at MCC Pride, which is here, which I mentioned was the event that I had the most standout players from. We're going to be looking at which Pride I think was the best one, and probably trying to combine all the players or maybe all the teams and pick the best 10 teams or the most interesting 40 players to me and making one roster out of all of them. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.